The British Army hasn't bought significant numbers of heavy armoured vehicles in a generation. Financial problems, neglected the political level, and the distraction of low-intensity foreign wars together deprived the army of the resources it needed to upgrade or replace existing equipment. The crisis has gotten pretty dire at a macro level. The situation is like a roof, tweeted Nicholas Drummond, a British defence analyst and commentator. If you repair it on an ongoing basis, you can sustain it indefinitely, but if you let one hole appear after another, eventually you reach a point where you have to replace the whole thing. The army has now reached this point. Late in the Cold War, the British Army possessed modern heavy equipment in large quantities. A decade later, the centerpieces of the army's fleet were the 62-ton Challenger 1 main battle tank and the 28-ton Warrior infantry fighting vehicle. The dissolution of the Soviet Union reduced the urgency of replacing the Challenger 2 and Warrior at the same time. The regional wars of the 1990s in the Balkans in particular highlighted the need for major powers quickly to deploy mobile protected ground forces. That meant medium-weight armored vehicles usually wheeled. The army launched a wide-ranging program to replace as many as existing vehicles, pretty much everything with tracks that wasn't a Challenger or Warrior, with a family of new medium vehicles. But then the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, which as they dragged on became counterinsurgency operations against very lightly armed enemies, complicated that plan. With the army focused on counterinsurgency ops, little attention was paid to high-end capabilities, with many people saying that heavy armor was obsolete. Drummond wrote, just 2 new vehicle programs survived efforts to acquire for $5 billion and $4 billion respectively. 589 tracked Ajax reconnaissance vehicles weighing 38 tons apiece and 528 wheeled Boxer fighting vehicles weighing 18 tons apiece. Ajax just now is entering service. Boxer is due to join the force in a couple of years. These efforts do nothing to solve looming obsolescence at the heavier end of the Army's roughly 200 vehicle fleet. The service has launched upgrade efforts for its tanks and tractives, the Challenger 2 Life Extension Program and the Warrior Capability Sustainment Program, but both have languished for a lack of funding. Challenger Tulip and Warrior CSP were well-measured projects given financial exigencies of the time. Drummond wrote, the problem was that between 2010 and 2016 the provision of cash was so sparse and with such extended program delivery timelines that progress was glacial. The UK Defence Ministry has yet to select a supplier for the tank upgrade. It could be years before the first upgraded Challenger to under service, assuming it ever happens. The Warrior upgrade likewise has yet to enter production. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2014 underscored the enduring value of heavy armor. Many NATO armies launched crash programs to upgrade their tanks and fighting vehicles, but the British Army idled, and not by choice. Whatever the army thought it ought to do, it was told there was no money. Drummond explained another home truth was that the army would never have the mass to match the conventional might of Russia or China. It needed to fight smarter. The army came up with a forced design that leveraged its new medium vehicles under the strike concept. The army would have 2 brigades with Ajax and Boxer and 2 brigades with Challenger 2 and Warrior light infantry brigades, and an air assault brigade would round out the roughly 100 strong army, allowing it to form 2 divisions. But it's an uneven force with an uncertain future. Fully half of the medium and heavy brigades, those equipped with Challenger 2 and Warrior, ride in old obsolescent vehicles, and the army might never upgrade them, much less fully replace them. Today just 227 Challenger 2s and 623 Warriors remain in service. They might just fade away. How the army got here is obvious. The repeated difficulties the British Army has faced in armoured vehicle procurement would appear to have stemmed from a mismatch between ambition and available funding, coupled with the additional budgetary and operational pressures imposed by the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, wrote Michael Tong, an analyst with the International Institute for Strategic Studies in London. Where the army goes next is less clear. In an ideal world, the army would have 3 divisions: a strike division, an armoured division and a rapid reaction division. Drummond wrote, unfortunately having such aspirations is like living in cloud cuckoo land. It's not hard to imagine a time in the near future when the British Army has just 1 division with a mix of medium and light brigades that would make it one of the few major armies anywhere without heavy armour.